So do you need a home inspection for a new home? In fact, a lot of times people look at a home inspector as something you hire when you're purchasing a resale or a pre-owned home. But a new home might actually be more applicable and even easier to do than a resale home. How would it work? Well, if you're contracting with a builder to build you a new home, you may want to have that inspector visit the build site 2 or 3 times during the construction. Maybe once when the concrete is poured for the foundation, once after the framing is done, once after rough-in is done, meaning that electrical wires and plumbing is put into the walls and maybe insulation. And maybe once when the finish work is starting to be done, the drywall, the dry-in of the roof, soffits, eaves. And the reason why is because many defects of a house, or not even just defects, but substandard work, might be hidden behind drywall. If you have an inspector look at the process as it's being done, you can make sure that it's being done properly. Now, certainly, the government is going to inspect that house as it's being built to sign off on permits and approvals. However, there are some things which may not be picked up on by the government. It may be legal, but it may not be part of your contract, meaning that if there's supposed to be a certain number of stud bays in the wall or certain size headers above windows, even though what's being put in might be legal, it may not be matching what the contract says on your build sheet. You may also find building procedures that technically conform to the building requirements of your county, but are not best practices for quality builds. Also, your inspector might be able to take photos of behind the wall construction, so later on, if you're looking to add, let's say, something hanging on the wall, you know where the studs are. You know where openings are that could open up a room. You have a record of where the wires are. An inspector can document all this. Could you do it yourself? Certainly. You could do all the taking the pictures as you go, and you probably want to do that anyways. But an inspector not only is going to just take a passive photo, they may have some active suggestions on how to improve the build so that your home is either higher quality or higher usability. As an example, when you're putting up a wall, you have vertical studs inside the wall. If you put up different types of mounting brackets behind the wall, called ledger boards or cleats, depending on what part of the country you're in, you may be able to have some horizontal facing boards that you can nail into, maybe at a certain height. Maybe you put them there to hang your cabinets in your kitchen. Maybe you put them behind a wall where you might add some custom built materials afterwards, like a bookcase. Your inspector might suggest that, and it might cost you a little more money with the builder, but while they're working on the house, is a cheap time to do it. They may also find technical violations that if caught early, so the inspector doesn't reject it, you might have the ability to avoid delays on your delivery of your home. If your inspector finds them and the builder can repair or fix the problem before the county building inspector sees it, you might not have to wait 2 or 3 weeks for another inspection. We've seen it a lot with plumbing, where the wrong types of transitions from a vent, let's say, were put in place, and the inspector found it, the private inspector, the builder fixed it so that when the city inspector came, it sailed through. They didn't have to fix it and come back 2 weeks later. So consider that. Will it cost you a little more money? Sure. It might cost you a few $100 every time they come out. If they come out 3 times, you're talking $700-800. But you're talking about a home that could be worth $500,000 that you're going to live in for 10, 20, 30 years. Spending a few $100 now or close to $1,000 might be a good investment to make sure that you have peace of mind, and also a higher quality build. An inspector a lot of times can suggest things that may not even cost more money, but could be really good tricks to have your house be more usable, be safer, be higher quality, and have more knowledge of best practices on that build. Let us know what you think in the comments.